12 gunshots shattered a marriage that once promised forever. What turns love into obsession and betrayal into bloodshed? Behind the surgery, the divorce, and the silence, there was a secret no one was supposed to uncover. Because the night he found out wasn't the beginning of the crime, it was the moment everything became irreversible. The night he found out began like every other, quiet, predictable, deceptively safe. Rain tapped against the kitchen window as he sat alone at the table, scrolling mindlessly through news headlines he never finished reading. Her heels lay by the door, damp, unfamiliar. She was asleep upstairs, breathing calmly, while something restless paced inside his chest. He told himself it was nothing. It always started that way. He hadn't meant to touch her phone. It buzzed once on the counter, a soft vibration that felt louder than thunder in the still house. He glanced at the screen out of habit, then froze. A message preview glowed briefly before dimming, just long enough to plant a seed of dread. He picked it up, hands shaking, pulse pounding in his ears. The code was simple. He knew it. He had watched her type it 100 times without thinking. The screen opened, exposing a world that did not include him. There were messages, dozens of them, intimate and careless. Compliments about her body, plans whispered in emojis, hotel dates disguised as jokes. He felt heat rush to his face, then drain away, leaving him hollow. Narration carried him backward through memories he now mistrusted. Late nights explained away by overtime, sudden gym sessions, new clothes, a confidence that had once thrilled him, now mocked him. He realized how carefully she had rewritten their marriage, while he clung to an older version of her, one that no longer existed. He stood and paced the kitchen, every step measured, afraid the floor might betray him. On the fridge, a vacation photo smiled back at him, a version of them frozen in false happiness. He wondered how long she had been pretending, how long he had been convenient. His reflection in the dark window looked smaller, diminished, like a man already disappearing from his own life. Upstairs, a floorboard creaked. He imagined her turning in bed, unaware that the story had changed. His thoughts grew darker, more intrusive. He wasn't angry yet. Anger would come later. This was something colder, sharper, a sense of ownership cracking into obsession. The truth felt like theft. He scrolled further. Photos appeared, some cropped, some deliberate, none meant for him. His stomach twisted as he noticed timestamps overlapping nights she had kissed him goodnight. The betrayal felt methodical, practiced. She had not slipped, she had planned. For a moment he considered waking her, demanding answers, shattering the illusion immediately. Instead, he sat there, listening to the rain, absorbing every detail. This was evidence. This was clarity. His silence became a decision. He wondered when love had become surveillance, when trust had turned into a quiet audit of lies. Every sound felt amplified, every memory suspect. Somewhere between the rain and the ticking clock, he understood that ignorance had been mercy. Knowing now was a sentence he would have to carry alone, forever, without appeal or forgiveness, in silence, tonight, awake. He locked the phone and placed it exactly where it had been, aligning it with the edge of the counter. Upstairs, her breathing remained steady. The house held its breath with him. As he turned off the kitchen light, one final notification flashed on the screen. A name appeared, one he recognized instantly, one that ensured sleep would never come again.
He did not ask her about the phone. He watched it instead, the way it lit up and went dark, a pulse he could feel across the room. Silence became his cover. If he spoke, the truth might scatter. If he waited, it might reveal itself. That night, he learned to listen to absence. The man did not arrive with a name. He arrived as a pattern. calls that ended with footsteps approached, routes that changed without explanation, a laugh she saved for somewhere else. In narration, the house shrank, rooms tightening around him as if walls had ears and secrets preferred corners. He began to notice timing, the same hours, the same excuses. Jim ran late, traffic was a nightmare. Each sentence landed smoothly, practiced. Dialogue had become performance, not communication. He nodded, stored it away, and marked the hours in his head like evidence tags. Cinematic details sharpened, the way she angled her phone away at dinner, the way she showered longer, singing louder, as if sound could rinse guilt from skin. Her perfume changed again, something darker, confident. He wondered if the scent belonged to him at all. One afternoon, he followed at a distance, not close enough to be seen, not far enough to feel free. The city blurred into corridors of glass and brake lights. She parked near a cafe he'd never visited with her. Through the window, he saw her posture change, shoulders back, smile ready. Then a figure crossed into frame. He was unremarkable at first, average height, neutral clothes, a man designed to disappear. But the way she looked at him gave him shape. The man leaned in, spoke softly. She laughed with her whole body. He felt something tear, slow and precise. Narration refused him relief. He did not confront them. He watched hands touch, briefly, intentionally. The man paid. She didn't reach for her wallet. Power revealed itself in small gestures. This was not romance alone. This was arrangement. He searched later, quietly. Old contacts, social media shadows. A name surfaced, attached to a business he recognized, one that had intersected their lives before. The recognition landed heavy. This was not random. This was proximity disguised as chance. The realization tightened his breathing, not panic, but focus, the kind that narrows the world to tasks. That night, she spoke kindly, almost tender. "You seem tired," she said, brushing past him. Dialogue felt dangerous now, loaded with traps. He smiled and let her pass. Inside, something hardened into resolve. He replayed the cafe scene until it lost sound and became geometry, distance, angles, timing. The man was careful. Careful men believed caution equaled safety. He wrote nothing down, but he memorized everything. Days later, rain returned. He stood at the window as she dressed, deliberate, choosing heels. She kissed his cheek, light as punctuation. "Don't wait up," she said. He didn't answer. Headlights washed the driveway. Another car idled at the curb, engine low, patient. The door opened from the passenger side. She hesitated, glanced back once, then stepped into the rain. He stayed at the window long after the taillights vanished, counting breaths, cataloging what he knew and what he still needed. The house felt complicit, holding echoes. He understood now that shadows weren't empty. They were occupied, waiting, daring him to step closer. His pulse steadied, aligning with a plan forming quietly, methodically, without mercy, from this moment onward, tonight. As the car pulled away, he finally understood the shape of the shadow, and that seeing it would change what he was capable of next. Marriage had become a terrain he no longer recognized, mapped by arguments and mined with silences. After the night at the window, he stopped pretending. He watched her, measured her words, felt the house tilt toward confrontation. The shadows he had seen now lived between them, crowding the rooms, daring either of them to speak first. It began with small collisions, a comment about money, a question about time. Dialogue sharpened quickly. "Why are you auditing me?" she asked, eyes bright, defensive. He replied evenly, "Because nothing adds up." The calm in his voice surprised even him. It wasn't peace, it was preparation. Narration followed the days as they degraded.
breakfasts eaten standing, doors closed too hard. She accused him of control, of jealousy, of insecurity. He countered with facts stripped of emotion, receipts, dates, the partial payment. Each exchange ended unresolved, tension stacking like sandbags against a flood. She learned to attack differently. Tears arrived on cue, then vanished. She reframed his concern as cruelty, his questions as threats. When he raised his voice once, just once, she smiled and lowered hers. Power moved quietly, like a knife turned in the hand. He felt himself losing ground without losing certainty. The house reflected the war. Photographs disappeared from shelves. Her side of the closet expanded. His shrank. She slept later, returned later, treated his presence as optional. He noticed how often she corrected his memory, insisted events hadn't happened the way he remembered. Gaslight by gaslight, the room filled with smoke. One night, the argument broke containment. It started over a late bill and ended in truth. "You don't own me," she said. "I never tried. I trusted you." The word trust landed wrong, like a challenge. Her laugh was short, cutting. "That was your mistake." Cinematic images burned in him. Her standing beneath the kitchen light, flawless, armored by confidence. His reflection in the microwave door, older, sharper, awake. When he asked about the man, she didn't deny it. She deflected. "You pushed me away," she said, rewriting cause and effect in one sentence. Narration slowed as he recognized the pattern. This wasn't about love or betrayal alone. It was about leverage. She controlled the narrative, the timing, the exits. He felt the urge to shout, to expose everything at once, but he resisted. Rage was loud. Strategy was quiet. The next morning, she served coffee like a truce fire. "We can't keep living like this," she said. He agreed, without argument. The word living felt inaccurate. They were surviving rounds, counting losses. She spoke of space, of independence, of starting fresh. He listened, cataloging concessions he would not make. That afternoon, a lawyer's card appeared on the counter, placed deliberately, like a flag planted on contested ground. She watched his reaction, measuring damage. He said nothing, but the battlefield had shifted. Lines were drawn. Retreat was no longer possible. That night, as he lay awake beside her, he understood the next phase had begun. Marriage had taught them each other's weaknesses. Now it would teach them the cost of ending it. He realized there would be paperwork, signatures, and polite smiles for witnesses who would never know the truth. There would be assets divided, stories simplified, blame redistributed until no one recognized themselves. The war would move from rooms to offices, from whispers to filings. She would call it freedom, he would call it loss. As sleep refused him, he planned nothing violent, only survival, only proof, only patience. Tomorrow he would not argue, he would prepare. The battlefield had rules now, and he intended to learn them all before the first official shot was fired. Divorce, once unthinkable, became inevitable, a formal declaration that the marriage was already over and that the next fight would be waged with documents, deadlines, and consequences neither of them could control, despite pride, fear, anger, regret, and irreversible choices.
Divorce arrived quietly, disguised as paperwork and polite language. The battlefield shifted from rooms to offices, from raised voices to measured tones. He signed forms with a steady hand, surprised by his calm, while she watched him like a strategist observing a retreat. Freedom, she said, was the goal. He wondered who had ever been freed by rules written in ink. The process stripped their life into columns, assets, debts, dates. Each line item erased a memory. The house became a valuation, not a home. Their vacations were reduced to receipts. Even the dog had a price. Narration lingered on the humiliation of it, the way intimacy collapsed under fluorescent lights and legal jargon. She thrived in the setting, confident, prepared. Her lawyers spoke with certainty, her answers concise. Dialogue felt rehearsed, a performance she had practiced long before filing. He noticed how often she glanced at her phone during breaks, how quickly she stepped outside to take calls she pretended were unimportant. Independence looked busy. The first disclosure landed like a punch. Accounts he had never seen, transfers he could not explain. Money moved quietly, deliberately, long before the marriage began to fracture. He asked questions. She shrugged. "You wouldn't understand," she said. The phrase echoed, not as insult, but as boundary. Knowledge was another thing she had taken with her. At night, alone in the half-emptied house, he replayed the hearings in his head, every word chosen, every omission deliberate. Narration followed the erosion of self, the way certainty gave way to calculation. He slept poorly, woke early, lived between emails. The silence felt accusatory, like a witness refusing to testify. Friends chose sides without knowing they had. Invitations stopped, rumors started. He learned how easily truth could be edited when it passed through mouths that wanted comfort. She posted photos, smiling, composed, unburdened. Comments praised her strength. He stared at the screen, searching for cracks that never appeared. The settlement tightened. He lost more than he expected, not because he was wrong, but because she was ready. Preparation, he realized, was power. The court did not care about betrayal, only compliance. Justice wore a neutral face, indifferent to pain, allergic to context. One afternoon, a document surfaced that refused to stay buried. An amended disclosure, a corrected line. It revealed a payment linked to the surgery, traced through a shell account tied to a name he recognized. The same name from the cafe, the same shadow. The lawyer dismissed it as irrelevant. He did not. Dialogue failed him there. Words felt inadequate, too slow. He copied the file, saved it twice, and closed the laptop with care. Divorce, he understood, was not an ending. It was a rearrangement of consequences, a temporary shelter for lies that would resurface when pressure changed. When the decree was finalized, she hugged him, brief and careful. "I hope you find peace," she said. He nodded, aware of the performance, aware of the audience. Freedom walked out wearing her perfume. Loss remained, unpacking boxes. That night, he returned to the house alone and opened a notebook he had never used. He wrote nothing emotional, nothing dramatic. Dates, times, names, patterns. He did not feel angry. He felt awake. Divorce had taken his marriage, but it had given him clarity. And clarity, he sensed, was dangerous. As the pages filled, the house seemed to listen. He realized the next phase would not involve lawyers or signatures. It would involve attention, the kind that did not look away, the kind that followed shadows until they stepped into light. He closed the notebook, aware that patience could sharpen into fixation if left unchecked. Sleep refused him again. Outside, a car passed, slowing, then moving on. He watched the street until dawn, accepting that watching had become his new language, his quiet rehearsal before choices hardened and boundaries quietly dissolved completely. The notebook became a metronome, ticking time into purpose. Dates aligned, names repeated, routes stabilized. Watching stopped feeling passive and began to feel necessary. He learned the city's rhythms by heart, the hiss of buses at dawn, the metallic cough of traffic at dusk, the soft click of a phone locking when secrets ended. Sound, he discovered, carried truth when words did not. He began recording without recording. Memory sharpened, cataloging tones. Her voice lifted when she lied, flattened when she was bored, softened when she was certain she would get what she wanted. Dialogue replayed inside him, edited for clarity. You're imagining things. You're overthinking. Each phrase had a pitch, a frequency that rang false. At night, the house whispered. Pipes knocked like knuckles on doors. The refrigerator hummed, patient, relentless. He lay awake counting breaths, hers when she slept over during logistics weeks, his when she didn't. Silence arrived differently depending on who was missing. He noticed how absence had a sound, too. Narration followed the tightening spiral. He checked reflections in windows before crossing streets. He timed her departures, her returns, the gaps between messages. He learned which shoes meant errands and which meant escape. The click of heels on tile announced intention. Sneakers meant nothing. He wrote this down, ashamed and relieved. One evening, he followed again. Not close, never close. The city blurred into a practiced route that ended near an office park. The man emerged from a side entrance, phone to ear, laughing quietly. The laugh had texture, confidence without joy. It matched the cafe. It matched the payment. The pieces fit with an audible click he felt in his teeth. He bought a recorder and never used it. He bought headphones and listened to static. Obsession hummed like electricity behind the walls, a low current that steadied his hands. He told himself this was about truth, about finishing what divorce had interrupted. He told himself this often. Dialogue thinned to necessities when they spoke. Logistics, calendars, neutrality. She noticed his calm and mistook it for acceptance. "You're handling this well," she said once. He nodded, letting the compliment pass like a test he had already failed. The notebook filled faster, patterns gained weight, Tuesday lunches, Thursday nights, a parking spot that changed only when watched. Sound confirmed what sight suspected. Doors closed with intention, engines idled, a horn tapped once, twice, signals learned by repetition. He realized the danger late, which is to say, right on time. The sound had changed. Where there had been curiosity, there was now urgency. Where there had been patience, there was now pressure. His pulse matched the city's tempo, faster than before, harder to slow. He tried to stop. He closed the notebook for a day, then two. The quiet roared. He heard her laughter everywhere, heard the man's voice in passing strangers, heard the click again. Obsession did not end when ignored. It amplified. The next purchase was small, legal, ordinary, a tool he convinced himself was for safety, for sleep, for peace of mind. He tested it at the range, surprised by the sound, louder than expected, final. The recoil traveled up his arms and settled somewhere permanent. Driving home, he turned off the radio. He needed to hear the road. Tires on asphalt, wind through mirrors. The city kept time for him now, counting down without numbers. That night, he slept briefly, dreamless. Morning arrived with a clarity that frightened him. He knew where she would be and when. He knew who would be there, too. The sound had resolved into a single note, steady and unavoidable, leading him forward towards a confrontation he could already hear forming, measured, inevitable, and far too close. He promised himself questions first, restraint second, and consequences later, unaware how easily promises bend when sound becomes command and listening turns into action alone.
He arrived early because waiting felt safer than chasing. The parking lot was half empty,
lights buzzing overhead, the sound he had learned to trust now steadying his breath. From the car, he watched the door he knew she would use. Timing mattered. Control mattered. He reminded himself of questions, not accusations. She came alone at first, walking fast, phone already in her hand. When she saw him, surprise flickered, then annoyance. "You weren't supposed to be here," she said. He stepped out, keeping distance. "I asked to talk," he replied. His voice sounded foreign, calm enough to scare him. They moved inside, to a small conference room with glass walls, neutral ground, witnesses without ears. He laid the notebook on the table, closed. "I know about him," he said. Silence followed, thick, evaluative. She exhaled and leaned back. "So?" The word landed like a verdict. Narration slowed as anger tried to rise and failed. He asked about the payment, the account, the nights. She answered selectively, admitting nothing she couldn't reframe. Dialogue became chess. "You don't get to interrogate me. I get to ask why. Because I wanted to." Her certainty was absolute. The man arrived late, uninvited by her words, but expected by the pattern. He entered with a smile that faltered when he recognized the room. "This is inappropriate," he said, already defensive. Power shifted, triangulated. The air tightened. He stood, hands visible. "You funded the surgery," he said to the man. "You funded the exit." The man glanced at her, searching for permission. She gave none. "It's none of your business," she said. "It was my body." The sentence ended the marriage more cleanly than any decree. Cinematic details pressed in, the hum of lights, a pen clicking somewhere outside. His reflection layered with theirs in the glass. He felt the sound again, louder now, urging him forward. He asked one last question, quiet. "Did you ever plan to tell me?" She hesitated, then shook her head. Honesty, at last. Something broke, clean and internal. He laughed once, short, surprised. "Then this was never about freedom," he said. "It was about replacement." The man shifted, blocking her slightly. Protection arrived late. She stood, heels sharp against tile. "We're done here," she said. "If you don't leave, I'll call security." He nodded, stepping back. Control returned as posture, not power. He gathered the notebook, unopened. Evidence had become irrelevant. At the door, he turned. "You taught me something," he said, "about preparation." She rolled her eyes. The man avoided his gaze. The sound peaked, a single note stretched too tight. Outside, the night felt brittle. He sat in the car, hands steady on the wheel, listening to engines start, doors close, lives continue. He told himself he would go home. He told himself distance was possible. Through the windshield, he watched them exit together, laughing softly, practiced, unafraid. He checked his phone and did not call anyone. He breathed, counted, waited. Memory tried to intervene with photographs, promises, the old language of forgiveness, but he pushed it aside. This was not forgiveness, this was alignment. He reviewed what he knew, what he could prove, what he could not say aloud. The notebook stayed closed, heavy with restraint. In the side mirror, his eyes looked clear, resolved. He felt fear, acknowledged it, and set it down. Fear was information, not a command. Across the lot, their car idled, exhaust curling like a signal. The city kept listening. So did he. The moments stretched, elastic, waiting for a snap he pretended he could prevent by stillness alone, even as resolve gathered weight and direction inside him, sharpening choices and narrowing the road ahead now. He started the engine and followed at a distance he knew too well. The city accepted him without comment, streets opening like channels. He was no longer asking questions. The sound had changed again, becoming directive, insistent, impossible to ignore. Ahead, a red light held them still, brake lights bleeding into the wet street. He stopped behind them, counting breaths the way he had practiced. The sound inside him now, a roar pressed flat. When the light changed, he followed again, farther this time, letting distance pretend to be restraint. The city thinned, storefronts closing, roads narrowing, until the turn he expected arrived. They parked behind the office building, a place designed to empty after hours. Security lights hummed, wind carried paper along the asphalt. He sat for a moment, engine ticking, feeling the weight beneath the seat settle his hands. He told himself to ask questions. He told himself to leave. He opened the door instead. Narration slowed to frames, footsteps, his breath, her voice rising, surprised, sharp. "What are you doing?" she asked. The man turned, recognition flickering into calculation. "You need to go," he said, stepping forward. Distance collapsed. Dialogue broke apart under pressure. "This ends now," he said, and heard how final it sounded. She laughed, reflexive, cruel. "You don't scare me." The sound snapped something precise. The first shot split the night, louder than memory. It was not cinematic. It was blunt, concussive, stealing air from his lungs. She staggered, shock registering before pain. The man shouted, a wordless shape. The second shot followed, then the third, each recoiled, driving intention deeper. Cinematic detail intruded uninvited. Light flared off metal. Shells hit the ground, chiming like mistakes. His arms burned. The sound became counting without numbers. 4, 5. She fell against the car, sliding, disbelief giving way to terror. "Stop," she said, finally, truth cracking through performance. Between shots, thoughts flashed and vanished. A kitchen table, rain on glass, a smile rehearsed. None of it slowed his hands. The sixth shot tore silence open again. The man ran, slipped, scrambled. The seventh found him, dropping him hard. He screamed, then didn't. The eighth echoed off brick, careless, consequence widening. He was aware of his hands, steady, of the trigger's resistance, of the night refusing to end. Time distorted further, thick and elastic. The ninth arrived late, unnecessary, undeniable. The 10th felt heavy like punctuation. He saw her eyes then, not angry, not manipulative, only afraid. Something inside him recoiled too late, searching for breaks that no longer existed. The 11th shot was quieter somehow, swallowed by the space. The 12th followed, final, the sound of an argument ending without agreement. When the gun clicked empty, the night rushed back in, sirens already imagined, consequences finally audible. He stood there, chest heaving, listening to what he had done. The sound changed again, draining, leaving only ringing and breath and the hum of lights. Blood spread with purpose, dark and fast. The man lay still. She did not. Memory attempted order, lining moments like evidence, but everything slipped. He felt heat in his palms, tremor in his jaw, the delayed arrival of fear. He waited for collapse, for screams, for nothing to matter. Instead, the night remained, indifferent, recording. He dropped the weapon. It clattered, ordinary, finished. He knelt without touching, watching Rife recede. "I'm sorry," he said, unsure who he meant. She tried to speak. No sound came. Footsteps approached, distant, then closer. A door slammed somewhere. He raised his hands when voices shouted. Red and blue washed the walls. He did not run. He did not explain. He let the city take him. As cuffs closed, he looked once more at the scene, at the geometry of choices now fixed. He noticed small things, a fallen earring, a coffee cup tipped on its side, steam lifting into cold air. These details felt obscene in their normality, insisting the world had not ended, only changed shape. He understood then that the story would be told without him controlling it, and that ownership of truth
would shift to strangers with clipboards, cameras, and opinions sharpened by distance. Statements would be taken, timelines argued, motives simplified until they fit. The number would lead everything. 12 reduced to arithmetic, 12 stripped of context, 12 repeated until meaning dulled. The sound he had followed was gone, replaced by something hollow. He knew the next phase would belong to reconstruction, to questions asked after endings, to truth rearranged under fluorescent lights. Sirens swallowed the night as he was guided away, leaving behind echoes that would be counted again and again, each time differently, each time insufficient. Tomorrow would begin the slow accounting, the methodical unraveling, the careful reconstruction of everything shattered here.
Morning arrived without ceremony. Fluorescent lights replaced sirens, and the night's chaos hardened into procedure. He sat in a plastic chair, wrists marked, staring at a wall that had learned how to look away. Officers moved with practiced calm, their voices low, respectful, distant. The scene behind him was already becoming evidence. They photographed everything. Shell casings numbered, blood patterns traced, a body outlined, then covered, another confirmed still. Narration stripped the moment of drama, replacing it with sequence and protocol. What had felt inevitable now felt documented, as if certainty required paperwork to exist. He gave his name, he gave the time, he gave nothing else. Silence felt safer than explanation. A detective offered water. He drank, hands steady, surprised again by his calm. Shock, he would learn later, had its own discipline. Neighbors gathered behind tape, faces lit by phones. Statements floated toward him through open doors. He was quiet. They argued. I heard pops. Memory contested each sentence, but memory had no badge. The night was being rewritten by proximity and assumption. At the station, the questions began gently. Where were you earlier? Did you know the victims? What happened next? He answered with facts that refused motive. Dialogue stayed sparse, clipped, precise. The detective nodded, writing slowly, letting gaps breathe. Gaps invited truth or invention. He chose neither. Hours passed without markers. Time collapsed into hum and paper. He replayed the scene involuntarily, each detail insisting on relevance. The 12th shot returned last, always last, like a period he could not erase. He wondered which detail would matter most when the story moved without him. A technician entered with a tablet, whispering to the detective. Something had been found. Accounts, transfers, messages. A thread pulled too late to stop the unraveling. The detective's tone changed, not kinder, not harsher, simply alert. Context had arrived. Narration followed the shift. The crime widened from moment to pattern. Financial records tied bodies to choices. Timelines overlapped. Lies acquired dates. The shadow from earlier chapters took form under light that did not forgive. He listened as they spoke about leverage, influence, consent blurred by money. The questions sharpened. Had he been threatened? Had there been extortion? He realized then that the truth was not singular. It was a bundle of competing explanations, each hungry to survive. A lawyer arrived near dawn, introducing himself with careful neutrality. Rights were recited, decisions deferred. He nodded, letting process take the wheel. Responsibility remained, heavy and immovable, but the shape of guilt began to change. When he was finally alone, he noticed the quiet again, different now, weighted with aftermath. Blood had settled into reports and bags. Names had replaced pronouns. He understood that the next phase would not be about what happened, but about why it would be told the way it would be told.
He thought of the notebook he had closed, the pages now living elsewhere, waiting to be interpreted by hands that had never trembled. Evidence would speak in his absence, louder than confession. He wondered which silence would be mistaken for guilt, which detail would be elevated into motive. In this new quiet, intention mattered less than interpretation, and interpretation would soon belong to a room he had not entered yet. Tomorrow promised fluorescent light and cross-examination. As he closed his eyes, exhausted, he sensed the story turning, inching away from spectacle toward judgment. The truth was coming, but it would arrive altered, negotiated, and costly. Whatever freedom remained would be measured in admissions, omissions, and the price of saying too much or too little.
Fluorescent light followed him into court, harsher than the station, flatter, designed to erase nuance. Cameras waited like teeth. He kept his eyes forward, posture instructed by counsel, while the room arranged itself around a single question. Who was he now that 12 had happened? The prosecution told a clean story. Motive was jealousy. Timeline was simple. Violence was inevitable. Dialogue arrived trimmed and weaponized, his sentences lifted from interviews and set against him. Photographs did the rest. Jurors flinched. The number repeated, 12, 12, 12, until it sounded like character. Defense resisted cleanliness. They widened the lens, introducing money, influence, asymmetry. Records appeared, then messages, then the payments traced to surgery and silence. Narration thickened as context returned, complicating blame without absolving it. Truth, it seemed, did not like straight lines. She was given a voice through text and testimony, curated and partial. Some messages showed tenderness, others showed calculation. The man's emails surfaced too, contractual in tone, transactional in fact. Power dynamics entered the room, uncomfortable and undeniable. The jurors leaned in, uncertain which discomfort mattered more. Cross-examination slowed time. A detective admitted assumptions. An accountant explained shells within shells. A friend contradicted herself and cried. Dialogue fractured certainty, each answer opening another door. He watched the jury watch, understanding that persuasion lived in fatigue as much as logic. He did not testify. The decision tasted like metal. Silence protected him and accused him at once. Narration carried the cost of that choice, the way absence invited projection. In the gallery, strangers searched his face for remorse they could recognize. Closing arguments framed morality as math. Add betrayal, subtract restraint, equal murder. The defense refused arithmetic, asking instead for proportionality, for acknowledgement of manipulation without erasing responsibility. Justice, they argued, was not innocence, it was calibration. The verdict arrived measured, careful. Guilty on counts that recognized action, not guilty where intent could not be proven beyond doubt. The room exhaled without relief. He felt neither victory nor collapse, only a settling, like dust after demolition. Sentencing followed weeks later, quieter, heavier. Impact statements pressed air from the room. He listened without interruption. When it was his turn, he spoke briefly, refusing excuses, accepting consequence. Dialogue felt inadequate, but it was all that fit. As the gavel fell, he understood the title of the day. Truth was not innocent. It injured everyone it touched, including those who needed it. The law had made its cuts, precise and imperfect, leaving scars shaped like numbers and dates. Experts testified cautiously about coercion and consent, about how money bends choices without touching them. Charts illuminated transactions, arrows looping back on themselves, timelines stretching months before the night.
The judge listened, expression neutral, interrupting once to clarify sequence. Jurors took notes, pencils scratching, sound returning him to the notebook days. Narration threaded the irony. Evidence spoke fluently, while people stumbled. Each exhibit argued two stories at once, one of planning and one of panic. He felt the room weigh those stories against the bodies that could no longer answer. When objections rose, they were sustained, overruled, sustained again, rhythm replacing certainty. A recess emptied the room into hallways where whispers multiplied, where headlines were drafted before deliberation. He remained seated, hands folded, learning how public truth forms in pieces, chosen and discarded, until it resembles inevitability. By the time court reconvened, he sensed the direction set, not by revelation alone, but by endurance, by which version could survive repetition without collapsing. Fatigue favored the simplest narrative, even as complexity lingered, unresolved, heavy in the air, still there.
Fluorescent light followed him into court, harsher than the station, flatter, designed to erase nuance. Cameras waited like teeth. He kept his eyes forward, posture instructed by counsel, while the room arranged itself around a single question. Who was he, now that 12 had happened? The prosecution told a clean story. Motive was jealousy. Timeline was simple. Violence was inevitable. Dialogue arrived trimmed and weaponized, his sentences lifted from interviews and set against him. Photographs did the rest. Jurors flinched. The number repeated, 12, 12, 12, until it sounded like character. Defense resisted cleanliness. They widened the lens, introducing money, influence, asymmetry. Records appeared, then messages, then the payments traced to surgery and silence. Narration thickened as context returned, complicating blame without absolving it. Truth, it seemed, did not like straight lines. She was given a voice through text and testimony, curated and partial. Some messages showed tenderness, others showed calculation. The man's emails surfaced too, contractual in tone, transactional in fact. Power dynamics entered the room, uncomfortable and undeniable. The jurors leaned in, uncertain which discomfort mattered more. Cross-examination slowed time. A detective admitted assumptions. An accountant explained shells within shells. A friend contradicted herself and cried. Dialogue fractured certainty, each answer opening another door. He watched the jury watch, understanding that persuasion lived in fatigue as much as logic. He did not testify. The decision tasted like metal. Silence protected him and accused him at once. Narration carried the cost of that choice, the way absence invited projection. In the gallery, strangers searched his face for remorse they could recognize. Closing arguments framed morality as math. Add betrayal, subtract restraint, equal murder. The defense refused arithmetic, asking instead for proportionality, for acknowledgement of manipulation without erasing responsibility. Justice, they argued, was not innocence, it was calibration. The verdict arrived measured, careful, guilty on counts that recognized action, not guilty where intent could not be proven beyond doubt. The room exhaled without relief. He felt neither victory nor collapse, only a settling, like dust after demolition. Sentencing followed weeks later, quieter, heavier. Impact statements pressed air from the room. He listened without interruption. When it was his turn, he spoke briefly, refusing excuses, accepting consequence. Dialogue felt inadequate, but it was all that fit. As the gavel fell, he understood the title of the day. Truth was not innocent. It injured everyone it touched, including those who needed it.
The law had made its cuts, precise and imperfect, leaving scars shaped like numbers and dates. Experts testified cautiously about coercion and consent, about how money bends choices without touching them. Charts illuminated transactions, arrows looping back on themselves, timelines stretching months before the night. The judge listened, expression neutral, interrupting once to clarify sequence. Jurors took notes, pencils scratching, sound returning him to the notebook days. Narration threaded the irony, evidence spoke fluently, while people stumbled. Each exhibit argued two stories at once, one of planning and one of panic. He felt the room weigh those stories against the bodies that could no longer answer. When objections rose, they were sustained, overruled, sustained again, rhythm replacing certainty. A recess emptied the room into hallways where whispers multiplied, where headlines were drafted before deliberation. He remained seated, hands folded, learning how public truth forms in pieces, chosen and discarded, until it resembles inevitability. By the time court reconvened, he sensed the direction set, not by revelation alone, but by endurance, by which version could survive repetition without collapsing. Fatigue favored the simplest narrative, even as complexity lingered, unresolved, heavy in the air still there. Escorted out, he caught his reflection in glass and did not look away. The story was no longer his to steer. It would continue without him, edited and replayed. Somewhere beyond the courtroom, meaning would be argued again. What remained was time and the slow work of living with what truth costs.